Hey, it's Jake here. This here is a 2015 Lexus ES350 and we're going to do an oil change. Let's get started and let me show you what things you're going to need for the job. You're going to need some 0W20 weight oil. You can use Pennzoil, Mobil, or any of the above. You need an oil filter wrench, a 3/8 inch drive, a 14mm socket. You'll need a oil filter. I use the CH9972 by Fram. You're going to need some ramps. You'll need a 1/2 inch drive, an extension, and you will need something to pick the gasket off with. That's a gasket pick right there. An oil pan and a funnel. Sounds like a lot. So let's get started here. So we put the car up on the ramps so we can get the car up and so we can get underneath the car. I don't recommend jacking the car up. It's very dangerous. By the way, guys, if you have not subscribed yet, please hit the subscribe button below. I have some other cool videos coming out that will be very helpful. On the passenger side of the car, underneath, you'll see where the oil filter and the oil drain plug is. You're going to use the 14mm socket and your 3/8 inch ratchet to remove the drain plug. Make sure you have the oil drain pan in position underneath in the right place, because when the oil comes out, it's going to come out kind of on an angle. And so you want to make sure you put it in the right place, otherwise you're going to have a disaster underneath your car and all over your driveway or your garage floor. Another thing, just to let you know, this engine takes 6.4 quarts of motor oil, and so make sure you have a pan that can accommodate 6.4 quarts of motor oil, otherwise it's going to overflow. And you can see with that pan that I have, we're pretty much right up to the top. Alright, so now once the oil is finished draining, you're going to notice that there's a fixed gasket. It's almost like a lip that's connected to the pan. There's no special O-ring or gasket that was under that drain plug. So if you don't see one when you take it off, don't be surprised, but you will see a lip that is kind of built into the pan itself. And just a reminder, everybody, just use the 14mm socket here. Don't try to use a standard size, okay? 14mm. You don't want to strip it. Also, for those who always give me a hard time, I'm going to include the foot-pounds, the torque settings there, which is 30 foot-pounds of torque on that drain plug. Let's go ahead and start removing the oil filter drain plug now. At the center of the filter, you'll notice there's a hex. I use the 1/2 inch extension on a 1/2 inch ratchet, and I didn't put a socket on it. You basically just use the extension, the 1/2 inch extension, and put it in the bottom of the filter to remove it. Okay, and it's counterclockwise to remove this drain plug that's on the bottom of the filter housing itself. Once you break it loose, you use your fingers and unscrew it. Be careful not to drop it into the container of oil. There shouldn't be a whole lot of oil leaking out of that until you put this little drain spout on there. You're going to get this. It'll be included with the new filter. You're basically going to screw that in there, and when you screw it in, it pushes it in a little valve inside that thing and starts to drain the oil out, so that when you take the actual filter housing itself off, you don't have a whole lot of oil that comes out. In this case, actually, I did have a pretty large amount of oil that came out. I guess I didn't let it drain long enough. So when you put that little drain in there, let it go for a few minutes and let the oil completely drain out of this filter housing until it stops. You can see all that oil that was still in there. The whole idea is you can drain the oil out first before you take this filter down and out completely. All right. So once you got the filter housing off, you set the old filter aside, you pull it out. Here's where you're going to need your gasket pick. You basically just need something to pull that O-ring out. It's sitting in a groove. They give you 2 new O-rings with the new filter. So go ahead and pick that old O-ring out and put the new O-ring back into place. Make sure you put it in the correct groove. It kind of just rolls down. Don't stretch the O-ring while you're doing it. Just make sure you just kind of roll it down and it'll eventually fall into place. Some people like to put a little oil on the gasket. It was pretty oily to begin with, but you know, dip your fingers in some oil and lubricate that gasket. I had somebody actually complain that I was using old oil on the gasket. I mean, please, come on. Doesn't really matter, guys. Oil is oil. We're just lubricating a gasket here, okay? So anyway, once you have that filter back in that housing, put it back in. You're going to tighten it back up. And here we go. I'm going to show you that you need 18 foot-pounds of torque to tighten that that filter back in there. And there's a little gasket. It's an O-ring in there, and you're going to change that one too. Remember, both of these O-rings are supplied with your new filter. If you didn't get 2 new O-rings with your filter, somebody took them out of the box in the store. All right, so you put that in there. It's got plenty of oil on it. It's nice and wet. Don't worry. And now we're going to finger tighten that drain, that oil filter drain plug. And then we're going to go ahead and put our 1/2-inch drive on it again. And we're going to go ahead and tighten it. And this one goes to 9 foot-pounds of torque. And you're going to make it so it doesn't leak. Okay? Wipe it down. And let's go ahead and pop the hood at this point. And we're going to start adding fresh, new 0W20 full synthetic motor oil to this engine. All right, so I'm going to take off the oil filler cap there, and we're going to get our funnel out. Put the funnel in there and take our oil and pour it in. Remember, this engine takes 6.4 quarts of 0W20 full synthetic oil. These are 5-quart containers, so you're going to either need 2 of those, or you're going to need a full 5 quarts, plus you'll need a couple of other quarts that you buy. Make sure you check it with the dipstick. Sorry, I did not show it on this video. Also, when you're done, take all your old oil, pour it very carefully into the old containers, close it up, and that way you can recycle it. All right, thanks for watching, everybody. Comments are welcome. Thumbs up are appreciated, and please subscribe. Have a great day.